What if an entire colony of people simply disappeared? No bodies, no signs of struggle, just one single cryptic word carved into a tree. What happened to the Roanoke Colony? And how can over 400 years pass with no clear answer? Let's step back in time to uncover one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history, the disappearance of the Roanoke Colony. It all began in the late 1500s. In 1584, Queen Elizabeth I granted Sir Walter Raleigh a charter to explore and colonize the New World. England was eager to compete with the expanding empires of Spain and Portugal. Raleigh organized expeditions, and by 1587, a group of about 115 English settlers, men, women, and children, set sail to establish a colony on Roanoke Island, located in present-day North Carolina. So, this wasn't England's first attempt at Roanoke. Actually, there had been two earlier expeditions that had failed. Harsh conditions, tensions with native tribes, and a lack of supplies had made things nearly impossible for them. But this time, they came with the intention to stay. The group that arrived in 1587 was led by Governor John White. Among the settlers was his daughter, Eleanor Dare, who, soon gave birth to the first English child born in the Americas, Virginia Dare. But within just a few weeks of their arrival, the settlers were already in trouble. They really struggled to survive. The local CROATOAN tribe was not friendly, and food was, well, pretty scarce. The colony ended up begging Governor White to return to England and bring back more supplies. Reluctantly, he agreed. White set sail, expecting to return in just a few months. But war got in the way. England was on the brink of conflict with Spain. Queen Elizabeth had ordered all ships to stay home to defend the coast. White's return to Roanoke was delayed, not by months but by 3 years. When John White finally returned in 1590, what he found was nothing. The settlement was deserted, houses dismantled, forts broken down, no signs of violence, no graves, no remains. But war got in the way. England was on the brink of conflict with Spain. Queen Elizabeth had ordered all ships to stay home to defend the coast. White's return to Roanoke was delayed, not by months but by 3 years. When John White finally returned in 1590, what he found was nothing. The settlement was deserted, houses dismantled, forts broken down, no signs of violence, no graves, no remains. The only clue, a single word carved into a wooden post, CROATOAN. And on a nearby tree, the letters CRO. White believed the colonists might have moved to CROATOAN Island, now known as Hatteras Island, about 50 miles south. This made sense. Before he left, they had agreed that if the colonists ever relocated, they'd leave a sign, and if they were forced to move under duress, they'd add a cross. There was no cross. But White was never able to search CROATOAN. A storm forced him to abandon the mission and he never returned. No one from the Roanoke colony was ever seen again. So what happened? Over the centuries, dozens of theories have emerged. One of the most popular, they assimilated with Native American tribes. Historians believe the colonists may have joined the CROATOANs or another nearby tribe, abandoning their English identity to survive. There are even oral histories and reports from later settlers of native people with gray eyes and lighter skin, suggesting a blending of cultures. But no concrete evidence has ever proven this. So, another theory? Well, it's that they were killed. Some people believe the settlers were attacked, maybe by hostile tribes or even Spanish forces coming up from Florida. But there were just no signs of battle. No bones, no blood, nothing at all. Could it have been starvation or maybe disease? Roanoke was a really harsh, unfamiliar land, with limited food and honestly no support. Some historians argue the colonists simply perished. But again, where are the remains? Then there's the possibility of relocation. Some folks suggest they tried to sail back to England on their own, or maybe they just moved inland to live off the land. But, no wreckage or settlements were ever found. It's almost like they vanished into thin air. Even wilder theories exist. Alien abduction, time slips, supernatural forces. While these really stretch the imagination, the truth is, no one knows what really happened. Modern technology has tried to crack the case. In recent years, archaeologists uncovered artifacts, English tools and pottery on Hatteras Island. Could this be the trace of Roanoke? So, in 2012, researchers took another look at a centuries-old map that was actually created by Governor White himself. Under ultraviolet light, they discovered a hidden symbol, maybe marking a secret location inland where the settlers might have fled. And yet there are still no definitive answers. Even today, Roanoke remains one of history's most chilling disappearances. No graves, no ruins, no witnesses, just 115 souls, lost. The word CROATOAN still echoes through history like a whisper from the past. What did it mean? A destination? A warning? Or, maybe something darker? The mystery of Roanoke endures, not because we lack evidence, but because every clue only deepens the puzzle. And maybe that's why we're still fascinated. Because some stories are not meant to be solved, they are meant to haunt us, to remind us how fragile history is, and how easily it can vanish without a trace.